What's going on, everybody? King of Dragons 5000 here, coming at you with another figure review. Today we'll be having a look at the NECA San Diego Comic-Con exclusive Superman vs. Alien. Here we do have Superman and the Xenomorph in the packaging. What we're going to do now is take a little break, get these guys opened up, and then we'll have a better look at the figures inside. So stay tuned, everyone. And so here we have Superman and the Alien posed and out of the packaging. Before we have a look at the figures, let's run through their accessories. Superman is the only one that does get accessories because the Xenomorph really doesn't need any accessories. Superman does come with two alternate head sculpts. He comes with the head that he has on him right now, which is a really stoic, accurate Superman head. This is probably the best Superman head I've seen in a long time. And then he also does come with a head where his eyes are gouged out. And the reason for that is that you can clip in two different heat ray effects. You can attach one effect where it looks like he's ready to shoot his heat beams, and then a secondary effect in which you have him pose shooting his heat beams, and it's a really long effect. I really do like that. Superman also does come with two pairs of hands. Superman comes with a pair of fists, and then he comes with a pair of flat palm hands for flying poses, which overall I really do like those accessories with Superman. Other than that, they don't come with anything, no flight stands, no nothing, but that's to be expected. With that out of the way, guys, let's actually move on to their details. And so here we have a closer look at the Xenomorph, and I chose the Xenomorph first because it is a figure we have seen in the past. He is an amalgamation of a lot of Xenomorph parts. He's part of the Isolation parts, the AVP parts, and it just looks really good, and I am glad that they were able to combine all those parts to give us this really fantastic looking Xenomorph. Now, I really do like the head on this. This is, of course, the AVP head sculpt where he has the dome. I really do like the dome on this alien, just for the fact that it has a lot of nice subtle shading to it. You can see it does look black from some parts. We have a darker purple in the middle, and then when light catches it, it's this really nice rich purple. Just overall really love the detailing on his dome. The dome is, of course, really iconic, and I actually prefer the Xenomorphs with the dome. You can see all these little effects, all these tendons in the mouth. It looks really good. You can see the Xenomorph has silver gnashes, which look really good. And then on the inside, we do have the inner mouth, and it is a little bit tricky to get out, but you can get it out, and of course I'm going to struggle with it on camera. But it does eject out, so you can have the Xenomorph like he's ready to puncture somebody's skull. So that's always good, and it of course retracts back into the head. Moving on to the torso, it is a retooling of the AVP body, and I say retooling because it actually does have a hinge in the neck, which we'll go look more in that in details when we have a look at his articulation. But overall, I love the paint job on this Xenomorph. In the comic, the Xenomorph was just a flat black, and it really didn't stand out as an action figure, just having an all-black alien, but they added some purple, some browns, a little bit of blues in there, and it looks fantastic. You can see all the brown right here on his torso, going all the way up on his little tubers. We have some really dark purple shading right here, and there is a little bit of blue right here. Actually, I think it's just an iridescent paint because from some angles it looks blue, like especially on this arm, but it's purple. So really don't know how NECA did that, but it looks really fantastic. Really loving these creepy arms. They're really long. His elongated fingers just look so nice, and I think we have seen this on the Scorpion alien, but I'll have to take a look when we do a comparison. Again, just these really creepy looking hands. I really love the way the Xenomorph's hands look. Just the four fingers and these really two long ones just give it this really creepy vibe. Going on to his legs, you can see continuing on that motif of the organic, seemingly biomechanical look of the Xenomorphs. Really do love that. You can see how that continues all the way down. You can see the tendons right here on the leg look good. Going all the way down to his big, massive feet with the silver claws. I am glad that they painted those. So it looks really nice. And one thing I do like is that he's covered in this glossy paint. I love the finish on the Xenomorph. He looks wet, and I love that about Xenomorphs. They are supposed to have this wet look to them, and this Xenomorph does that really, really well. Looking onto his tail, all these little spines continue, and this is where you can actually see the blue paints. The blue paints are a little bit sloppy. They're just in random areas. They're not really washed into the main paint, but it still looks good. You can see the purple still continues. We have this iridescent blue and purple, so it looks really, really good. Really impressed by the Xenomorph figure. So what we're going to do now is actually have a look at Superman. And so here we have a look at Superman, and oh my goodness, is this a good Superman figure. The head sculpt on him looks really, really good. I love the way his NECA did the head. There's so much to love about this head. He has a curly Q as you would expect Superman to have. His hair is this really nice black. It's actually a glossy black, which I do like, with some blue highlights in it. Although the camera does make the highlights stick out, in person you really don't notice the highlights too much, but you can actually see some detailing in it, and it looks so good. One thing I do like is they were able to give him his really nice blue eyes. Superman has blue eyes, and NECA was able to capture that perfectly with this figure. There is a little bit of slop here and where his flesh tone meets the suit, but it's to be expected. It's not going to be the same for all figures. One thing I do love is the S-shield. They have a really classic S-shield on Superman. One thing I wish they could have done is actually sculpted the S-shield on this figure, but seeing as how he shares the same body as Batman, I'm willing to overlook that, because it's a really good body. Imagine if if NECA got the DC license, we'd be getting more figures like this. Such a beautiful Superman. And one thing I do love is the blue. Superman has this rich blue that they gave him. It's not dull, it's not muted. It's just the right color, so I really do like that. Right now I do have him with the fists, which are sculpted really well. Really do like that. Of course, you can't have Superman without the red trunks. I'm really glad we got a really classic Superman. You can see the yellow belt is painted really well. The red notches on it also sculpted and painted really good. So really loving that. Going down to his thighs, you can see he has these really muscular thighs. NECA knocked it out of the park with this sculpt. There's no other way to say it. Then we go on to his boots, and it's the classic M-shaped boots, which look really, really good. Really impressed by the amount of detailing in it, to the point where they even sculpted the line work in his boots. That's something you really wouldn't expect them to do, but they were able to do that anyway. Really loving how that looks. He does have toe joints. Unfortunately, mine are frozen. I haven't tried heating them up yet, but that is something to notice. And of course, I did want to save this for last. He comes with a fabric cape, and this cape is a really nice cape. You can see they were able to attach the S-shield on the back, which is really iconic of classic Superman. And this is such a nice cape. I love the fabric on it. It's heavy enough that it's going to drape down to his side in really good poses, but it's light enough that it's not going to weigh the figure down. I don't know the exact material that they used with it, but the way it bunches up here in the collar is actually accurate to how Superman has it in the comics. And like I said, the fabric is done really well. I need to know what type of fabric this is, because if you can replicate this, you can give it to all sorts of other figures. Really, really loving this cape, and I would prefer all Superman figures come with a fabric cape rather than a plastic shell. But this is such a beautiful cape. It is a little bit sloppy up here at the top, but you're not going to be looking at that. You're just going to be looking at how it drapes, and it gives Superman a really nice silhouette, and it's what you expect from the Man of Steel. So what we're going to do now is take a little break and get Superman and the alien compared to a few other figures you may have in your collection. Here we have Superman posed next to a Marvel Legends Cyclops and a DC Multiverse Superman. Here we have Superman posed next to a WWE Elite Scale figure and a Mezco 1/12 Collective Popeye the Sailor Man. And finally, here we have Superman posed next to the DC Universe Classic Superman and the DC Collectibles Essentials Superman. Here we have the Xenomorph posed next to a Marvel Legends Cyclops and a DC Multiverse Superman. Here we have the Xenomorph posed next to a WWE Elite Scale figure and a Mezco 1/12 Collective Popeye the Sailor Man. And finally, here we have the Alien posed next to the Scorpion Alien and the Grid Alien. So with their comparisons out of the way, let's actually move on to their articulation, and we'll have a look at the Xenomorph's articulation first. The Xenomorph does have a ball joint in the head. He can look up and down really well, as well as turn side to side. We also do get some pivot on that. We do have a hinge in the jaw, which works really good, and then the inner mouth does come out. He does have a hinge in the neck, which does look back about that far, does look down about that far. Actually, he should be able to look down even further. Yeah, you can actually get him to look down further. That's just really stiff on mine. Arms are on ball sockets. They do go out to about that far. Do a full 360. Not at all hindered by anything, although you do want to watch out because he has incredibly long arms. We have a swivel at the elbow, double bend at the elbow. We have a swivel at the forearm, a hinge in the wrist which goes in and out, as well as rotation. We have hinges in the fingers which move in and out, and it's the same for both hands and both arms. He has a ball joint in the torso, does rock forward and back. Doesn't really give you the best movement forward or back, but it does move. It does give a side-to-side movement as well as rotation. Legs do go forward, back, and they do go out. They do have swivel at the thigh. Unfortunately, both of them are severely stuck on mine. I have tried heating them up already, and they don't move, so unfortunately I can't get the thighs to swivel. He does have rotation at the knee as well as double joint at the knee, so I do like that. You can see you can get him in a lot of good poses. He has a hinge at the ankle, and yes, this is technically his ankle, so we do get that. Some rotation. And then we have a ball joint in the foot, although his heel, he has two heels technically. He has a heel up here, and then he has a heel down here. Don't ask me, it's just the design they went with. But we do have a ball joint here, so it does rotate. Gives us a little bit of rocker, and really little forward and back. But we do get a toe hinge on this guy, so that's pretty good. And then the final piece of articulation is his tail, which does rotate, which works good. And then we have a bendy wire in his tail, so that goes really good. It's a really stiff wire, and I do like the fact that it's a stiff wire. It's not it's not flimsy, but it is a little bit hard to move around. So with the alien out of the way, let's actually have a look at Superman's articulation. Getting the alien off camera. Superman does have a double ball joint in the head. He has a ball joint that connects to the neck and then a ball joint that connects into the head. And with that, we get probably the best movement on a Superman head that we've ever seen. So I really do like that. Does turn left and right, leans side to side, looks down, looks up. You can get him in a lot of heroic poses. Arms on a ball joint, they do go out to about that far. Do a full 360. Although they're a little bit stiff on mine. He does have bicep swivel. Now, he does have double bend in the elbow, but unfortunately, this joint on mine is frozen, and I have tried taking a hairdryer to it, and it hasn't moved, so I might have to take that pin out. But he does have double bend in the elbow. He has a rotation and hinge at the wrist, and it's going to be the same for both arms. We do have an ab crunch, which goes forward only to about that far. Goes back only about that far. We do have rotation at the waist. Legs do go forward to about there. They go back, out to the side all the way. He swivels at the thigh. Double bend in the knee. Once again, really stiff joints, but they do move. So I do like that. We have rotation at the boot. We have a hinge in the ankle, which goes back about that far. Goes forward only about that far. Rocker ankle. And then we would have a toe joint, except mine is frozen. I'm going to try to get that loose. So anyway, that's Superman and the alien for you. So what I'm going to do now is get him posed for my final thoughts, and then we'll wrap up this review. And so here we have the Alien and Superman pose for my final thoughts, and overall I really love this set. You can never have too many Xenomorph in your collection, and this is actually a really nice Xenomorph figure. I would love to see NECA give this guy a single release at some point down the line, maybe in a different color scheme. And this Superman, I might as well just say it, is probably the best Superman figure I have in my collection, and it's going to be really hard for another company to make a Superman to top this, because NECA knocked it out of the park with Superman. The joints on Superman are really good, although his elbows are a little bit stiff. That's perfectly okay with me. I don't really need to use both joints. But it's still a fantastic figure, and I am really glad that this set was able to be released. Really makes you wish that NECA did get hold of the DC license. If you are looking for this set is a Comic-Con exclusive set, and I was lucky enough to order mine from NECA when they did their Comic-Con sales. So I did pick up this as well as the Batman vs. Predator 2-pack for $120, so that's $60 a set. If you are looking for Superman vs. the Alien, this set is going anywhere from $100 to $150 at the time I'm making this video, so it is starting to get up there in price. If you do want to pick it up, I would say pick it up now, because this set is only going to go up in value over time just because of how good this Superman figure is. With that being said, guys, I'm King of Dragons 5000. Don't forget to like this video, leave a comment, subscribe to my channel, go ahead and check out all my other action figure reviews, as well as all my other NECA videos. Hopefully you find them informative. As always, if there's a figure you would like to see me review, let me know down in the comments, and if it fits in my collection, I'll definitely have a look at it. And while you're at it, check out my Instagram account for new and exciting action figure photos, and ring that bell to be notified every time I upload a video. Until next time, guys, I'll see you later. Take care, everyone.